Hello there, these comments are for SD, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to Pass the TOEFL IBT. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to take your essay and change it from your current score of 17 points out of 30. I'm going to show you how to get 30 out of 30 points on this essay. Now remember that the TOEFL independent writing task, there are all sorts of questions they could ask. They could ask you to compare two ideas. They could ask you to discuss points and then make a position and so on. So the first thing is you want to make sure that you actually answer the question. So I read your essay. You have 468 words, so there's no problem with your word length. However, when I go to the rubrics, you actually don't even score in the 3 range on this, and I will tell you why. If you want to get in the 3 range, you have to address the topic and task, right? However, you didn't really do that. You have limited development of ideas as it relates to the topic and the task. So why am I saying that? It says in the writing prompt here, it says some believe it's very important to make large amounts of money, while others are satisfied to earn a comfortable living. Analyze each viewpoint and take a stand. So in order to get a high score here, it's important to discuss the 2 positions first. That means talk about why some people want to make a lot of money, and then in another paragraph talk about how others want to just earn a comfortable living, and then you take your position. So I would imagine that this would have 4 paragraphs. So the first paragraph is your introduction. The second paragraph focuses on making large amounts of money and why some people like to do that. The third paragraph will focus on why others want to earn a comfortable living. And then the last idea, or the last part, is your own opinion. Do you see what we're saying? So that's why I think if you look at the way that you framed it, you said here, present day world determines a person's ability based on economic status. So I feel earning more money will give exalted life. I feel this way because of 2 reasons. Right, so we need to change this introduction so that it focuses more around the writing task. Okay, so let's take your first paragraph. I'm going to make some changes so that it's more of a neutral type paragraph. The purpose of the first paragraph is really to do 2 things. You're explaining the 2 viewpoints, and then you can state your opinion if you want. So you say each of these positions has advantages. Personally, I like this position or whatever. So you want to make sure that you're framing it that way. So let's see what you have here. Each person has, if you say person singular, notice how has is singular. Then you want to say here his or her. But it's a little awkward. So instead of each person, I'm going to say people. People have their own, I'm going to say, personalities. How about this and say, and thus have the freedom of taking, you don't say taking, you want to say making. So we make decisions, we don't take decisions, at least not in English, right? So that's a word choice error there. Of making. And let's keep everything plural, right? Because we have people's plural, making decisions about their lives. And let's see how long this first paragraph is, just for curiosity purposes. That's pretty good. It's 118 words. Now, instead of saying I do have the experience, let's just focus on the different viewpoints, right? So we'll say some people want to run you might say want to earn huge amounts of money how about this, a high standard of living. So some people want to earn huge amounts of money to sustain a high standard of living. I want to say whereas others are happy how about making enough money how about comfortable maybe non-extravagant lives. And this is kind of evolving. Working on this takes time, right? So let's see. So to live comfortable, non-extravagant lives. I don't think you really need to say all this, because if you do all what you're doing here, you're giving too much of your opinion in the beginning. The purpose is to present an essay in which you analyze each of the viewpoints, right? So each of these views toward money have advantages. Personally, I prefer okay, so if you did something like this, we may have to develop this a little bit more. Let's see what we have. To live they have to decide where they will live, what schools. And what I'm doing, I'm just giving some general statements about it. Notice what I'm trying to do here is in the beginning of this, I'm trying to stay more neutral because the question says analyze each viewpoint and take a stand, which means it's probably better to look at each viewpoint first and then finally take your own position. All right, let's see how we're doing here, and we'll keep working with this paragraph. It's about 87 words. People have their own personalities and thus have the freedom of making decisions about their lives. For example, they have to decide where they will live, what schools their children will attend, and even what kinds of cars they will buy. You want to say, of course, to afford you might say houses, tuition fees, car payments. Now what did I do here is I said to afford these houses, this means where, tuition fees means what schools, and then car payments, which means that. So I'm just making sure that what I'm saying here, it ties back to the previous paragraph. So of course to afford these houses, tuition fees, and car payments, or how about home mortgages? How about that? If you have a mortgage, that's kind of like you have to pay for your house on a month-to-month basis. To afford home mortgages, tuition fees, and car payments, some people want huge amounts of money to sustain a high standard of living, whereas others are happy making enough money to live comfortable, non-extravagant lives. Each of these viewpoints toward money have advantages. Personally, I prefer to make a lot of money. So now what we need to do is in the next paragraph, here's how we have to frame this. I'm going to show you what you have to do. Now remember that each essay is different. It depends on what the writing prompt is, and that depends on how you will organize your essay. Notice if you looked at what we just read, instead of saying analyze each viewpoint, it says which viewpoint do you agree with and why, give reasons to explain your point of view. That would be totally different. I would probably have a 5-paragraph essay for that. But based on what we're trying to do, right, I would say, I'm going to say first of all, some people want to earn large amounts of money. So that would be the topic sentence for one of the paragraphs. Then you'll say, second of all, others prefer to earn a comfortable you might say something like this. And then you might say, So now what we've done is, I'm just showing you the structure here. So this paragraph here, you're talking about why some people want to earn large amounts of money. And then in this paragraph, you talk about how others just want to earn a comfortable living, and then you get into what your opinion is. Now notice how these topic sentences that I've created, they go back to the question. I'm taking some of the key ideas from the question and I'm putting them in the topic sentences of these body paragraphs. Okay, so for this one, now I'm going to take one of your paragraphs Let's take this idea here. You say, first of all, money is a need. Even if you're trying to make an argument, your topic sentence really doesn't work. It's factual. Make sure your topic sentences are argumentative, not factual. This is very, very important. But because here, we're going to take this first idea here. Okay, let's take a look at what if you say here, to them money is needed, and what I'm doing is I'm making this sound more neutral, so it sounds more like you're analyzing the viewpoint instead of arguing your own position. So you say, to them money is needed for a good education, good food. But the food thing wasn't really developed in this paragraph very much, but you did talk about tuition. So money is needed to get a good education. Let's go to the example here. If a child wants to study a course, and let's say we have I'm going to be a little more specific. This is one thing that you want to do, is try to be very specific in the nouns you're using. So I said if a child wants to study, notice how I didn't say course. I said an accounting course at Harvard University. It is the parents' ability to make her dream come true. They'll have to pay, we can say their children's tuition fees, which may cost up to $100,000 annually. They will be able to send their children to top schools Okay, I think we're okay here, right? Let's see how many words we have. If we're around 100, we're good, right? We're at 109, so this is perfect. Okay, so let's look at this, and don't even worry about the counter argument here. You're going to get to that, right? So let's look at this one more time. So first of all, some people want to earn large amounts of money so that they can sustain a high standard of living. To them, money is needed in order for their children to get a good education. For instance, if a child wants to study an accounting course at Harvard University, it is the parent's responsibility to make her dream come true. So if a child wants to study an accounting course at Harvard University, it is the parent's, that's a little bit wordy. How about this? Parents are responsible for his or her dream come true. Therefore, they'll have to pay their children's tuition fees How about this? You could say these parents, how about if they earn lots of money, okay, so we've talked about the first ideas, why some want to earn large amounts of money, and I've gotten some ideas here. So you didn't really deal with the opposite views. So you say, second of all, others prefer to earn a comfortable living because they do not feel the need for expensive, extravagant lifestyles. People with this mentality are satisfied with making just enough money to get by. For example, even though these parents cannot afford to send their children to top schools, they will still be able to provide partial support for their children should they decide to go to college. In these cases, the children may even need to work while they attend college and may even decide to take out a loan to help pay college expenses such as tuition, books, room and board. Okay, we probably have too much here. Okay, that's good. Okay, now we go to your opinion, right? Okay, now I'm going to take your next idea Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so what we need to do here, I'm going to get rid of the rest of this, so let's put this over here. I'm going to put this, and I'm going to show you something about your paragraphs. This is something that you want to consider here. So in this paragraph, you talk about having accidents, being affected by deadly disease, food, medicines, saving, investing. That's too many ideas. You're bringing up too many different things in a paragraph, right? So what you want to do is you want to be able to show that you can take an idea, you can develop it over 50 or 100 words, and you're not jumping around with too many points, right? So let's say we talk about medicine or health care. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to focus just on this idea, and I'm just going to use my own knowledge. You have to use your own knowledge about what you know about healthcare, whatever the topic is, and then bring that into it. So you can say, for example, so to be able to afford the current monthly healthcare premiums, How about you might say I'll be needing making at least $150,000 annually. Then you can address a counter argument. Always finish it up. So conversely, those who do not earn a lot of money will not be able to get And I'm going to end by restating what it says here. It's important to make large amounts of money, right? To make my purpose very clear. I think that's it. So I don't really think we need this one, right? So let's kind of look over what we have so far. And we're going to make a few more changes, right? So the main thing with this one for you is you really did not organize your essay according to the writing task, right? And then in your paragraphs, you have the tendency to bring up a lot of different ideas, but you're not taking enough time to develop all those points. So what I did is I showed you how you can reframe the essay. So more you're analyzing the two viewpoints more in paragraphs 2 and 3, and then you take a stand in the final paragraph. So those are pretty much the major changes that I've made with your writing. And still, if you look at it, and we still have 495 words, so we have plenty enough, right? Okay, let's take a look at it one more time. So people have their own personalities and thus have the freedom of making decisions about their lives. For example, they have to decide where they will live, what schools their children will attend, and even what kinds of cars they will buy. Of course, to afford home mortgages, tuition fees, and car payments, some people want to earn huge amounts of money to sustain a high standard of living, whereas others are happy making enough money to live comfortable, non-extravagant lives. Each of these views toward money have advantages. Personally, I prefer to make a lot of money. First of all, some people want to earn large amounts of money so that they can sustain a high standard of living. To them, money is needed in order for their children to get a good education. For instance, if a child wants to study an accounting course at Harvard University, parents are responsible for making his or her dream come true. Therefore, these parents will have to pay their children's tuition fees, which may cost up to $100,000 annually. Because these parents earn a lot of money, they will be able to send their children to top schools, which will help these future college graduates get high-paying, prestigious jobs. Second of all, others prefer to earn a comfortable living because they do not feel the need for expensive, extravagant lifestyles. People with this mentality are satisfied with making just enough money to get by. For example, even though these parents cannot afford to send their children to top schools, they will still be able to provide partial support for their children should they decide to go to college. In these cases, the children may even need to work while they attend college, may even decide to take out a loan to help pay college expenses such as tuition, books, room, and board. These challenges, according to these parents, will help prepare their children for the real economic challenges that will confront them after graduating from college. Finally, and the main thing here is I stayed here neutral. I didn't use any personal pronouns. I analyzed the viewpoint of earning large amounts of money. And then in this paragraph, I analyzed the viewpoint of earning a comfortable living, and then I got to my position, right? Which is kind of how you should have organized this essay if you want to get a really high score. Notice how the last paragraph, I took time, I developed it over 162 words, and notice how in this paragraph I didn't really bring up anything that I already discussed here. I didn't really talk about the education thing. I could have, but that doesn't show good progression or development of ideas. I tried to pick another point here to show the audience or the TOEFL readers that I can take another idea and develop that. So this whole paragraph is focused around healthcare. That's it. That's all I did here. 162 words, right? Notice how I tried to be specific. So it says, finally, I prefer a lot of money. I prefer maybe, how about earning a lot of money in my life because of the high cost of healthcare in the United States. For example, with my current healthcare plan, I have a $15,000 deductible, which means I have to pay the first $15,000 in medical expenses should anything happen to me or my family. My monthly payment for this healthcare plan is $550 monthly, so to be able to afford the monthly healthcare premiums and be able to come up and to be able to afford coming up with a large amount of money in the event that my family and I get infected by deadly disease, I will need to be making at least $150,000 annually to afford this type of health care insurance. Conversely, those who do not earn a lot of money will not be able to get satisfactory health care coverage for their families or themselves, so I definitely believe that it is important to make a lot of money. And that's it, right? So that's kind of what you want to do. So that's a little bit different from how you developed your idea. Okay, so based on what I've read and the corrections that I made, here are 4 things I want you to be careful about when you start doing your writing practice. Remember that your goal here is to take these ideas and then as you start sending writing practice to my teaching assistant, keep these things in mind. Number 1, before anything, make sure that your essay is organized around the writing prompt, and in this case it was not. And remember that you need to be able to control the tone. I'll add this one, control the tone of your writing. For example, in paragraph 2 here, because you were analyzing each viewpoint first and then you take your stand. Here I did not use any personal pronouns. I said some people, I said to them, I said parents are responsible. There is no no one can tell from this paragraph that I actually agree with this point of view. Nobody will know, not because I wrote this in a more objective manner. And the same thing here. In my next paragraph, my purpose was to analyze the other viewpoint about being satisfied to earn a comfortable living, right? So that's what I did here. Again, I had a more neutral tone, but then when I got into the last paragraph and I started stating my own argument, notice how I started using I a lot. I said I. I started using a more personal tone, a more argumentative tone, right? So remember that. Those are some things very important. So make sure your essay is organized around the writing prompt and control the tone of your writing. If you need to be argumentative, be argumentative. But if you need to be objective first, then be objective. Second thing, keep your paragraphs focused around one specific idea and make sure that you use specific details to illustrate the point that you're trying to make. Right? So the example here is, notice how this whole paragraph here, it's only focused on healthcare. How many words did I write about healthcare? 163 words. I was just focusing on one idea. And that's good. That's showing progression of thought, showing that I can take an idea, I can develop that. That's very good for your writing score. All right? Okay, let's keep going. Number 3, your topic sentences should restate some of the key points in the writing prompt. This is also important for you. For example, it says, first of all, some people want to earn large amounts of money, right? Why am I saying that? Because it says here, some people believe here. Then in the next paragraph, it says, others prefer to earn a comfortable living. Here, you see this? You go to the writing prompt here, it says others are satisfied to earn a comfortable living, right? And then it says, and that's the analysis part of my writing, right? And then when I take a stand, I say here, I prefer earning a lot of money in my life because of the high cost of healthcare here in the United States. And if we wanted to here, and then all of this focuses around that. Now the next thing, number 4, I don't see this as a huge problem with your writing, right? You seem to have pretty good control for the most part over your grammar and your vocabulary, but remember that with this one, I had to spend so much time restructuring your essay, I wasn't able to spend a lot of time on just word by word, sentence by sentence, because a lot of your paragraphs I had to just throw away because they weren't very useful. But you should edit your writing during the last 5 minutes or so, and in your case, be careful about either using singular or plural nouns. That's definitely something for you to look out for. All right? And there you go. So that is my error correction of your independent writing practice test number 39, along with my 4 tips.